We'll be live streaming, commentating. If you're coming to hear the debate and no commentary, don't come to my channel. I will be talking a lot and I'll be talking proudly. But Thursday night, I'll be live commenting on this. If you like what I do, you know what to do. Viva Fry, like, share, subscribe, hit the notification bell. Make sure you are subscribed when you see a video of mine come out. Drop a thumbs up, drop a comment. If you don't like what I have to say, drop a thumbs down, drop a comment, let me know why. But more important than anything, exercise, eat healthy, get sunlight, talk to people in real life, and see you Thursday, no later. I'll be live tomorrow, as I am pretty much every day. Viva Fry, you know what to do, like the vlog. Booyah. This is McGill College. The Roddick gates are the main entrance. Let's see what we can see in here. How long you guys been here for?
8 weeks.
And this is the this is it. It's not more than it. Just occupies this field here.
Yeah, but there's another camp
down on Victoria Square.
Yeah, and that one is not the students. That one is all the groups in Palestine for la caisse de dépôt.
To pressure the bank.
No. Like the part of the government that manages the economies of Quebec.
Okay. Caisse de dépôt is.
And where do we invest? Like Quebec invests in different places. Caisse de dépôt is the placement.
Okay.
So
say the line. Say the line, Bart.
Beside the stock exchange.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure they're on the west side.
Okay, interesting.
So that is, let me just get that out of here. When I got to Montreal on on Monday, it was Saint Jean Baptiste Day yesterday. And I went to look at the encampments, the one on McGill campus, where they have now twice failed to get an injunction ordering the dismantling of the camps. And in reality, look, it was a very quiet day. There were no clashes like there appear to be happening today. That was the football field, where people played Frisbee, behind Roddick gates, not erotic gates, but that was the joke back in the day. And the encampment was there. There was no violence that I saw, but I certainly have heard stories of harassment and intimidation, et cetera, et cetera. It was a quiet day, very few people there because it was Saint Jean Baptiste Day, which is when I decided to go have a look. I'm not looking for confrontation at all, and drove by the newest encampment by Victoria Square, Square Victoria, for anybody who takes the metro. Vous approchez Square Victoria in old Montreal-ish downtown, and that one, I mean, looked a little bit less hospitable. Drove by, I mean, basically they just take over a park. It's a public park, where they have trees and benches and whatever, and they put up tents, put up tarps, and spray paint the living bejesus out of monuments as though that's going to accomplish anything. The reason why they've chosen the Square Victoria for the encampment is because it's right in front of Caisse de Dépôt, or the bank, whatever, the Scotia Bank, that has the Caisse de Dépôt. Caisse de Dépôt, it's sort of like a pension fund where they invest money, and they are, as you saw in their demands, demanding disclosure, divestment, whatever, boycott, etc., etc. I have returned to Montreal for the first time in the summer in a year. Last time I was here was last year. I've returned to Montreal for the first time since winter, when you don't really walk around outside anyhow because it's miserable and cold, and I had a sinus infection, yada yada. I've returned here. When I went back to Ottawa after the protest, and it went from being the most beautiful, vibrant, smiley-faced, clean, safe town on earth compared to what it was before and compared to what it has since reverted to afterwards, it felt like going back, not to the scene of a crime, in the sense that it didn't feel like I was going back and covering my tracks or anything. It felt like going back to the scene of some form of a murder. And I'm not trying to be hyperbolic. It felt like I was going back to the scene of a spiritual murder, where Ottawa has always been relatively shitholish. I'm sorry I'm swearing, and I'm sorry to call it like it is. Ottawa has always been something of a shithole-ish city in certain areas. The Glebe is very beautiful. They got their small bakeries and their bagel shops and the restaurants up in the Glebe. I forget where. Downtown Ottawa, Rideau Canal, the Rideau Street, has always been something of a hellhole. You never wanted to be at the market, I forget what it's called, at night, because homelessness has always been a problem in Ottawa. Drug use has always been a problem in Ottawa. When I say always, 10 plus 20 years. When I went down there for the protest, and it was the safest downtown Ottawa had ever been. It was the happiest it had ever been. You walked there live streaming, talking to people. You felt no intimidation, perhaps except for, some individuals who looked like they might be counter protesters. In that entire time that I was live streaming the Ottawa protest, the only time I ever felt somewhat threatened or intimidated was when I had my back to the row of counter protesters. They didn't know that my situational awareness is always 360. I could see people through my camera behind me. They didn't look nice. They looked like, if they could swing a bike lock and not get caught, they would, type thing. When I went back to Ottawa after the protest 2 years later for the Canada Strong and Free Network, it was like returning to the scene of a crime where a beautiful puppy had been run over by a car. When I came back to Montreal now, that's exactly the same sentiment I have. I admit that I'm perhaps looking for things to complain about. I'm looking for things that make me unhappy. Construction, traffic has always been the same. The homelessness in Montreal is out of control, period. I drive up Atwater, as is the typical route to get back into Montreal. Cabot Square, for those of you who don't know, across the street from the Old Forum, you would not walk that during the day, let alone at night. Homelessness everywhere, graffiti everywhere, construction everywhere, alloué signs, for rent signs everywhere. I went biking through jogging through Mount Royal. The city is different. And some of you are going to say, well, times are changing. This is called progress. Well, at least don't tell us it's not happening. Tell us it's happening. You're right for noticing it, but you're wrong for thinking it's not organic and possibly socially destructive. Tell us that. Don't tell us it's not happening. Remember when they said the Great Replacement is a racist conspiracy theory, but it's happening and you're a bigot for noticing? The city is no longer what it used to be. There's homelessness everywhere. I went to Chinatown to go to Lanzhou noodles because we still love that place. I posted a picture of me sweating like a pig with the Lanzhou noodle soup. When we went back to the car, I accidentally went 2 streets too far. We walked on a pedestrian street, broad freaking daylight, 50 homeless people and drug addicts. And I'm with my kids. I was like, okay, you guys stay ahead of me and just walk. And if there's an issue, you run, and that'll be it. This city has gone to shit. The province has gone to shit, and the country is going to shit in real time. So demonstrably so that I talked to the parking guy, the parking attendant. I said, what the hell's going on here? He's like, it's terrible. It's terrible. They open the borders when they can't take care of their own people, and then they wonder why people coming in don't necessarily not integrate, but rather contribute? Why, you can't deal with the existing social burdens that exist under any circumstances. Open up the border. And I'm going to start complaining about standard things like, if you can't afford 5 kids, don't have 10. And the city is going to hell in a handbasket. I don't exactly know what that looks like. And so as all of this is playing out in real time, I wanted to go back and talk to people at these encampments. I'm a nice guy and I'm an open-minded guy and I can listen without judging, even if I disagree. I mean, sometimes I will listen and I will judge, like I do with people on Twitter. But I can listen and not judge. And I had a discussion with the guy who you heard talking to me at the encampment. Dude didn't seem to understand exactly why he was there. I had the sneaking suspicion that has been since confirmed by others that these people who are occupying these encampments might actually be homeless people, some of them at least. I want to talk to people. I want to understand what's going on there. I would also like to understand why they wouldn't want people recording what's going on there if their purpose is protesting for what they believe to be a greater good, or at least a good in and of itself. They're protesting for Palestine. They're protesting for Palestinians. Why wouldn't they want people out there documenting it, taking interviews, hearing their thoughts? But when I drove around the Victoria Square one, nope, you're not talking to people. There are people there, bad actors, bad faith actors, who are there solely to bust skulls and seek confrontation. I sought the advice of our locals community. It's like, do I go down and try to do an interview? Try to be reasonable. Try to be nice and amenable and hear them out. And a few members on our community, Bill, you're one of them, says you can't talk reason with people who are not reasonable. And as I was driving around the Victoria Square encampment, I saw what I believe people who look to be like scouts, like guards. But the majority of the people who I saw that looked like they were out looking for heads to crack and faces to punch and people to spray paint were young white male kids. And I look at these people like these people, these young activist, probably relatively affluent white kids looking to cause shit were the ones I'm like, you can't be in the vicinity because they're not here to talk. They're not here to listen. They're not there to dialogue or intercourse in the non-sexual way. They are there to harass, intimidate, and if they can sucker punch someone and run away, like happened kind of with Alexa Lavoie, they'll do it. And I look at the cops around here, and they're not doing jack shit. Worse than not doing jack shit, they're not doing jack shit. They're actually locking up the good people. They jail the reporters. They turn a blind eye when the mob assaults reporters while allowing public spaces to be overtaken by criminality. It is criminality. Whether or not it rises to the point of getting an injunction to tear down the McGill encampment, vandalism. I won't go with the stupid ones like what's it called? Loitering. I won't go with loitering. Vandalism, destruction of public property. How you guys see the spray paint on the monument at Victoria Square? That'll really advance Palestinian causes. The irony is the vast majority of the people protesting, doing these encampments, they don't give a sweet bugger all about the Palestinian people, because if they did, they would have been vocal for a much longer period of time and proposing solutions that might actually be solutions. They're not there to help the Palestinian people. They are there solely for the purposes of the destruction of Western society. They're destructive activists. They think that they're there to protest the rights of Palestinians, but they have been silenced, not saying boo for the last 20 years. I remember the last time we had protests in Canada. They could care less. They want to break shit. They want an excuse to do it, and they've gotten the political permission slip to do it. And then there's some that are good-natured who genuinely want to be there, but they have been co-opted and they have been hijacked by the Antifa types, by the affluent white boys wearing the scarf, face masks, so they can wreak havoc, break stuff with impunity. And you know who loves it? I dare say the government loves it. I dare say Valérie Plante, that awful scoundrel of a mayor of Montreal, vaxxed to the max and then collapses on national TV. She's responsible, and she loves it. Divide and conquer. It's the most amazing thing you can possibly do. You know who else loves it? François Legault. Divide and conquer. You know who else loves it, but maybe not so much now with the Leslie Church results coming out of Ontario? Justin Trudeau. You're not being taken over, but you're being taken over, and you're going to like it. And shut your face, bigot, because if you say anything against it, you become the enemy, and we will sick our police force on you. Alexa Lavoie might be coming on in a bit, and we're going to talk about this because there's a bit of a breaking detail in the story of her getting assaulted and those two jackass police officers doing nothing. So, bottom line, I consult with my locals community, and I say, should I go down and try it, stay on the periphery, don't get too involved? And they said it's not A, it's not worth it. B, you're not going to tell us anything that you haven't, that we don't already know. And C, set aside whether or not you get sucker punched from someone behind you. The cops are looking for an excuse to arrest, not necessarily me. I still like to think that even the most corrupt scoundrels appreciate the truth in what I'm saying. But no, that might be the very reason for what they want to shut me up, or allow someone to shut me up, or find an excuse to arrest me. Someone shoves me, I shove them back. Lo and behold, I go to jail for assault, and the masked avenger runs off and goes into the encampment. And the cops, they don't go in there because they're not busting down the encampment yet. So I didn't go. Also, yeah, that's it. I drove by. There was nothing useful was going to come of it, because we're not talking around with people who are open for discourse. We're not. You're looking at people who are looking for and have obtained their political permission slip to break shit. And as we've seen now, the authorities in Canada are not on the side of the people. If there was any doubt lingering in the minds of Canadians after they went in and beat the ever-loving piss out of veterans to suppress the most peaceful protest ever, while letting these encampments wreak havoc on public property, if anyone had any lingering doubts as to whose side the government is on, it is not yours, and you'd better understand that. Tommy Robinson just got arrested. Won't be able to do certain legs of his tour with Rebel News. Alexa Lavoie is allowed to be assaulted in front of two coward cops with shit-eating grins because they love what they're looking at. And then they disarm you. They don't let you protect yourself, and they don't protect you when you get assaulted. And then if you defend yourself, off to jail you go. Assaulty time. Good afternoon. What time is it? If I look angry, by the way, I am. It's like I feel like I'm witnessing the death of someone that I once loved. I'm witnessing the death of what was Montreal, what was Quebec, what was Canada. Maybe there's enough time to turn it around. We'll see. There's a big upset coming out of Ontario with the Liberal Party. But yeah, hold on. I was going to segue this into, when you get self-defense wise, people. Hold on, I got to refresh this. Here we go. I'll put a little bit of music audio on here. Let's listen.
Even always being prepared for the unexpected.
Go.
That could mean a natural disaster or even a threat to your loved ones. But what if the unexpected danger wasn't something outside your door, but inside your own body? Achy joints, digestive issues, weight gain, and fatigue. We're told these are normal signs of aging, but in my experience, it could mean something much worse. I call them the three internal enemies, and they are wrecking the health of millions of Americans right now.
I'm not playing the entire thing for you people.
But the good news is, if you know what they are, there's a way to feel better. Not in years or months, but sometimes in just days. So you're healthy enough to take on anything the world may throw at you.
Let's pause it right there, people, and you'll have to go watch the rest of the video as I give you the link right here, people. Boom. I don't know if that's going to give you the link. Everybody, you may have noticed it said this stream contains a sponsor, which it does. Have you ever wondered what happened to the legendary Chuck Norris? I haven't, because he's still out there kicking ass. How is 81, 82? I recently saw that video, and I was shocked that he's in his 80s, and it's not just that he's physically sharp, he is mentally sharp as well. In fact, Chuck Norris could go to that debate, and that would be the true debate. Chuck Norris versus Donald Trump. They would team up. I'm joking. That's not going to happen. Chuck is in his 80s, still kicking butt and working out and staying active. What's even more shocking is he's stronger, can work out longer, and even has plenty of energy left over for his grandkids. He did this by making just one change. He says he feels like he's in his 50s. His wife started doing it, and she too feels better than ever. She says she feels 10 years younger. Her body looks leaner and has energy all day. But don't comment on Chuck Norris's wife's body. You might get Chuck Norris. Chuck has made a special video that explains everything. Make sure you watch it by going to chuckdefense.com/Viva. Because I'm in Canada, I'll spell it. It's defense with an S. chuckdefense.com/Viva. chuckdefense.com/Viva, or click the link. It's in the description. It will change the way you think about your health. Once again, chuckdefense.com/Viva, and click on the link in the description below to watch the video. You won't believe how simple it is. Just one reminder: the legendary Chuck Norris is a whopping 81 years young and has more energy than many people out there. He discovered he could create dramatic changes to his health simply by focusing on 3 things that sabotage our body as we age. Go to the website. It's there, and it's awesome. And if it looks like I'm sweating, by the way, I might be sweating again. I made the mistake of not changing to a shirt that doesn't show sweat, but it's hot and humid in Canada. What's the enemy? Parasites, you ask? Kayla Marie, you're gonna have to go watch it. Now, before we get into the first story of the day, well, I guess the first story was me ranting like a lunatic for the entire time because I'm not fed up. It's depressing. I drove through small town. I say small town America. I didn't stop in New York, Philadelphia, whatever. I only spent 2 nights on the road anyhow. Like I put out a tweet as I was up here. It's like I fucking love America and freedom-loving Americans, and I love Canada and freedom-loving Canadians. I just noticed that if we're going to measure the percentage of freedom-loving Americans per capita versus freedom-loving Canadians, I'm not poo-pooing my country. I'm just saying, I think it's more like 50-50 in America and more like 70-30, 80-20 in Canada. There are too many people in Canada who would rather have the safety and security of a clean prison than have to be the wild dog who, finds and forages for his own meat and risks losing a little weight. Canadians seem to be subservient, polite, but also to a very depressing degree, not expecting or thinking they deserve any better. And you go to America and you talk to people in what they call small town America, and you realize freedom, the Constitution, God-given rights. These are my God-given rights. They're not privileges that are afforded to me by some form of government, by some parliament, by some sovereign, by some king or queen. They're my God-given rights, and Americans have that baked into their cultural DNA. Canadians, not so much. And you come up here and you have people telling me, Viva, you're exaggerating, you're complaining too much. I probably should stop complaining, but I sure as hell am not exaggerating. Freedom, you are a great patriot, and I respect and admire for all to have godly This is funny. I didn't actually see this when I started saying that. This is wild. Free speech, rights of free speech, and not to be promoted as a racist by the left, which is a disgrace to all our races. We got Zen Master Me super sticker. Someone warned Trump not to eat or drink anything he did not carry into the venue himself. It's in the new Democrat playbook to drug or poison him just before the debate. We're going to talk about that today also. It's disgusting, just like LA and San Francisco and Portland became asshole of filth. And police don't do a damn thing to stop it because it's being allowed by the government. And Toronto, Ottawa, Vancouver, Montreal. I mean, this is just get out of cities until you get a government that's responsible. But the question is whether or not we are past the point of no return. Speaking of which, I don't know if we're going to have any news. Let me just check my DMs and see if I've got any news, any additional details on the arrest of Tommy Robinson. But Tommy Robinson has been arrested. Tommy Robinson enters the purportedly free state of Canada and gets arrested. What was it? A day? I don't know how long he's been there for. He went to Winnipeg. He got arrested, seemingly, allegedly, potentially, on a what was it? Seemingly on a visa violation. By the way, let me just do this because I noticed some rumble rants before we get going in the show here. I've never felt fear in public until last week, says Schmickel. I was walking with my 4-year-old daughter after her dance recital. 10 teams with LGBT flags were discharging a taser 20 feet from us. RCMP did nothing. That's a Royal Canadian Mounted Police. Then we got Crash Bandit says, Canadian color revolution, it's almost like the globalist socialists are reading from the same script. And Ginger Ninja, from the Panhandle to the Wang, the national anthem, Viva sang. Okay, let's break this out of here. So Tommy Robinson, I wake up in the middle of the night because I'm sleeping on the bed with the dog. The dog falls off the bed. And then first thing he does, pee on the floor. And I can only think he peed on the floor because he got scared from falling off the bed. So I've been up since the better part of 4:30. But this is the news, people. This is Canada. Tommy Robinson arrested over a suspected immigration offense in Canada. The 40-year-old one was released later on Monday morning. The far-right activist was due to speak at several other events in Canada in the coming days. He won't be able to. Why? Because as far as I understand, the conditions of his bail preclude him from leaving Winnipeg. Well, we'll see if they report it here. Far-right activist, piss off. Tommy Robinson has been arrested in Canada on suspicion of an immigration offense. Robinson, whose real name is Stephen Yaxley Lennon, this is always the gotcha, was held on Monday before being released, having been ordered to stay in the country and hand in his passport, he said. Prisoner in Canada. Oh, it's a free country. You can leave when you want. Oh, no, you can't. Not anymore. All they have to do is arrest you for some bullshit charge, take your freaking passport, and you have become a prisoner of Canada. Footage posted online shows him being handcuffed, led to the back of a car. A man who appeared plainclothes. The 41-year-old said on Twitter, "None of this makes sense. I'm now detained in Calgary, prevented from leaving the city. These conditions stop me from continuing my tour of Canada and meeting with guests for podcasts." Okay, sorry, I just got distracted. Robinson had been booked to speak in 3 Canadian cities by a far-right outlet called Rebel News. What is this with Sky News and everyone's far-right? Yeah, Rebel News is real far-right. So that is how it rolls in Canada. Tommy Robinson, a man who has been very vocal about a certain transformation in London, Loudon, England, the UK in general, who has been persecuted more than I think more than most. I now call him the European or the English Alex Jones, because Tommy Robinson had been getting the heat for about as long as Alex Jones, and the same type of treatment, debanking, lawfare, defamation lawsuits, all the stuff, locked up on bogus charges, and been covered it since back in 2018 when he was jailed for contempt. I think he was given 13 months after a 1-hour hearing for being after being arrested for allegedly unlawfully video recording proceedings that were going on with grooming gangs, which you can't talk about in London, England, because of racism. So he came to Canada, was doing a tour with Rebel News, and no sooner did he arrive that he got arrested and now can't attend the other legs of his tour because of the restrictions on his bail conditions, and allegedly has had his passport removed. All right. Wild. Also out of Canada, a little glimmer of hope. You may remember there was a by-election. I don't know why there was a by-election, but by-elections are something happens. A seat becomes available in between official election cycles, and there was a by-election in what was, up until yesterday, a liberal stronghold in Ontario for like the last 30 plus years, like Westmount NDG, where I ran with the PPC. Westmount NDG, Notre-Dame-de-Grâce, has voted liberal by a margin of 50+% for basically the last 30 years. I think there was one election cycle where they went to the NDP back when Jack Layton was in the NDP, and it was actually a legitimate, wonderful party before it got turned into the steaming pile of shit that it has under Jagmeet Singh. There was a by-election yesterday, and a woman named Leslie Church was running. And all you need to know in terms of assessing somebody is who endorses them. And there was a concerted effort. There was a concerted effort from Chrystia Freeland. Madam, I'm selling Canada to Ukraine. Madam, I pose with Nazi iconography. Madam, I salute and give a standing ovation to a Nazi in Parliament while I siphon off billions of dollars of Canadian taxpayer dollars to a regime that has been infiltrated or has serious Nazi problems. But then I call freedom-loving, trucker protesting Canadians Nazis and right-wing extremists. Her, Chrystia Freeland. Oh, yeah. Deputy Prime Minister and Minister of Finance, Vice Premier, Ministre des Finances, the one who gleefully boasted about how she was freezing bank accounts with no due process while immunizing banks to do it. Yep. Her. Well, she was supporting Leslie Church. And you can judge someone by the enemies they've made, and you can also judge someone by the allies they've made. And anybody who has scumbag McGee, Chrystia Freeland, as an ally, you know that you should vote against her if at all humanly possible. I remember I was keeping track of this, and I take credit for nothing in this. I don't think anybody even see my tweets. Do everything you can to make sure people do not vote for Leslie Church. I know everything I need to know about her by virtue of the fact that Satan is endorsing her. Oh, there were so many more. Well, the by-election happened yesterday, and Leslie Church was defeated. It was a close election, and some people might be saying, this is in fact, not some people, some stupid idiots, some morons, some partisan hacks who think you do not have the right to decide what to do with your own vote are going to say, this is what happens, vote splitting. It's only because of vote splitting that that she managed to lose. Because if you look at this, so here, I assume these numbers are still relatively accurate. You got conservative Dawn Stewart won 15,555 votes, and the liberal Leslie Church lost with 14,965. But look at the New Democrat Party right underneath there. Oh, it's the New Democratic Party. They got 4,000 votes, and I'm no mathematician here, but if you added those 4,044 up with the 14,965, why, I think you'd get about 20,000, more than enough to beat the conservative. It's almost like if the NDP wasn't there, then Leslie Church would have won. Or it's almost like if the Liberals weren't the scumbags that they are, the corrupt, fear-mongering, divisive, abusive, charter-violating, treacherous, treasonous party that they are, people might not have voted for the NDP. And enough people seemingly protesting the Liberals voted for NDP, and alas, a conservative squoke in because of the vote splitting. Here's the reality of this. If you want people to vote for you, don't be shitheads. If you want people to vote for you, don't be divisive, constitution-destroying, country-destroying, corrupt animals. There's no other. Yankee Pollock, someone who I follow on Twitter, put out a tweet like, shows a picture of Trudeau and says, describe him in one word. And I humorously said, is POS one word or three words? They're the worst people on earth, the Liberals, in terms of politics. They are abusive. They are divisive. They have done nothing but act against the national interests of Canada and Canadians at large. And then they try to shame you when you don't vote for them to get more of the abuse. Thank you, sir. May I have another? Hold on 1 second. And it was, no. Oh, come on. It was the woman who's quite clearly an unhinged lunatic. Gail Valax. She's a Canadian person. Sorry, this is going to be a little Canadian-centric for those who don't know who this woman is. And here we go. Here, let me bring this up here. It's classic. Bada bing, bada boom. Vote splitting. They don't have to. Oh, they don't have to earn your vote anymore. You owe them your vote, and if you don't give it to them, you're the problem. If you don't give it to them, despite them abusing you and destroying your country, you're the problem. Gail Vaz Oxlade, mother, painter, gardener. She's the most foul, toxic human on earth. Go follow her on Twitter if you want to, find someone who will make it fun to hate people on Twitter. She writes, not so. Oh, once again, the left split the vote and a conservative. That's almost as original as the Democrats, and you capitalize the rats. We just can't learn this lesson. And so we are doomed to keep repeating it. Or just throwing this one out here. Don't run shit candidates who support a corrupt party and an evil leader. Just or that. Oh. Chat. Let me see what's going on in here. I wanted to see something in our vivabarneslaw.locals.com. There seems to be a sign that said F Trudeau at the hockey game last night. What a I don't care for hockey. I don't care for sports. That is the true distraction. But come on, you come back from down 3-0 in the Stanley Cup Finals. You bring it to a game 7 and then you lose 2-1. That's going to leave a mark. Roustang, in a $2 tip in vivabarneslaw.locals.com, says the way in which Tommy Robinson was arrested, the vagueness of the reasons, not to mention the swiftness at which the mainstream media broadcast the arrest, suggests this was a special arrangement. One wonders if MI6 made the request to Trudeau to detain Tommy. It's unclear, but and they'll drop the charges. The same way they dropped the charges against Jeremy McKenzie after locking him up in solitary, after ruining his life, practically bankrupting him, getting him debanked because the charges were so scary. Drop the charges. No harm, no foul. The government's playing with your money, and they're making you waste his. And now Tommy Robinson, they'll probably end up dropping these. What the hell could the charge possibly be? Presumably, I don't know if he got a visa to enter the country, but what could the charge possibly be? If it gets dropped, so sorry, you missed your tour dates, and everyone who paid to see you, everyone who was eager to see you, just got screwed. And you know what happens? What the world might need right now, and we're getting it sort of out of the liberal story. The area. Let me just show you the map here because it's kind of amazing. Let me see here. The map. Pierre Poilievre's. Is this it right here? Conservatives win long time holding. Look at this. Conservatives win longtime Liberal stronghold Toronto St. Paul in shock by-election results. It's a shock. Eh? It is a shock because you never actually thought it could possibly happen. Let me just get the picture of the map. Oh, tabarnouche. La carte. One thing that's good is I haven't lost my French. I was worried about that. Hold on. I just want to show you the Conservatives. Is this it? This might be it. Come on. I just want to show you what the map looks like because it's not the result we wanted. Trudeau responds after surprise. It's the result you deserve. But look at the map. Here, look at this. I mean, they're not even showing as broad as it is, but the red, it's not, the pink is not to highlight the areas that were not up for election. The red, pink, is to indicate where the political leanings go. That's the red is Liberal. And now you look at this. Blue. It's like a little blue island in the middle of a sea of corruption and people who support bad people. But who knows? Maybe that shock result is the beginning of a 1776 moment. And do you know what happened before 1776? 1775, people. Booyah if you want good coffee. This is the coffee for you. Hold on just 1 second here. Cripe almighty. It's good coffee. In fact, it partners up with Rumble exclusively, and it is going to put a little hair on your chest if you're not careful, because it's coffee that actually tastes like something, and it's coffee that will actually wake you up in the morning. Are you tired of being a sleepy Joe who has zero cognitive performance? We'll see how much 1775 coffee Joe jacks himself up on before the debate. And by coffee, I mean other stuff. Scared of walking upstairs without being worried you're going to fall down, or in Joe's case, fall up the stairs? Do you struggle to muster and focus with basic brain functions in the morning? Do you struggle to eat ice cream or ride a bike without falling off of it? You need to stop drinking woke liberal coffee and start your day by drinking Rumble's very own 1775 coffee. Never mind that it's the best tasting coffee you'll ever have in your life. Maybe not. It's the best tasting coffee you're going to have in your life. It's seriously good. It's ethically sourced from a family farm in the high altitude mountains of Bolivia. So instead of waking up tomorrow, sucking down your disgusting chemical-ridden woke coffee, giving money to companies that hate you but want to take your money, support 1775 coffee, support free speech, and build the parallel economy that actually values you. Go to 1775coffee.com/Viva. They've got medium dark pea berry roast. I always take my coffee dark with cream and sugar. You won't regret it. Promo code Viva will get you 10% off your first order. So make it a big one. Level up your morning routine with a bag of 1775 coffee and sleep well at night, knowing that your hard-earned dollars are going towards supporting a freedom-loving company that supports and loves freedom-loving creators like yourself and has partnered with Rumble, the true free speech platform. Now, I'm going to wait for Alexa. Hold on. Let me see if she's popping in here. Ready when you are? Question mark. There's a part of the story in Alexa's story that we have to talk about today, and it's going to be amazing. You seem a little upset. I heard throwing milkshakes is a good way to protest when you feel that way. Jeff Horton. Jokes aside, like, yeah, fill up a milkshake container with cement or whatever. Just our streets are being taken from us, our country is being taken from us, and our parks are being taken from us. Let me go over to Rumble and see what's going on here. Oh, where's the pin chat? Yeah, I set this up, and I'm reflexively. I'm using Rumble Studio next time. I can't pin up the Rumble chat, and I did this because I thought maybe I was going to be on the street doing the live of the protest, and I'm an idiot anyhow. So Rumble Studio will be what I'm using next, so I can actually pin the Rumble chat and so on. What else? Okay, so Alexa's going to be here in a few minutes. Let me just see what I had else on the backdrop that is on topic. Oh. Well, okay, while we have a little bit of time, it'll be a standalone. Breaking news. In light of the upcoming Trump-Biden debate on Thursday, there was some pressure. People, this is the world that we're living in. It also makes me angry that people don't seem to be flipping outraged about this. They're like, people still look at Trump and say, he is so bad and he is so evil. He was found liable for sexual abuse. He was found guilty of tax fraud and whatever. He was found guilty of falsifying business records. It's amazing how we didn't realize he was a criminal until we decided we hated him. And they don't understand this. They don't realize it. And they also don't care to understand the details. They don't care to understand the injustice because it's self-gratifying, self-fulfilling bias. They hate Trump, and therefore, however shitty he's treated, it will be further confirmation that they hate Trump, and it'll satisfy them and make them feel more righteous and more justified in their hatred. Trump was just found guilty in that New York case, not the nipple judge Engoron case that was liable because that was a civil fraud case. He was found guilty of the 34 felonies in New York. And he's been under gag order, or he was gagged in the New York nipple judge Engoron case because it's totally normal to gag a civil defendant in the context of their persecution. He was gagged in the Judge Marchand Alvin Bragg prosecution. He's gagged in the DC Chutkan prosecution. Totally normal, totally nothing violative of First Amendment rights, even if it were a nobody, let alone the leading presidential candidate leading into an election cycle. In the election cycle, the leading adversary leading into a public debate. How can Trump go and debate if he's gagged? You know, I was saying this, and I feel actually somewhat vindicated. I just put this together now that, you know, when Trump declined to debate in the primaries, A, he didn't have to. B, he had absolutely nothing to gain from it. And C, I argued that it was a setup. It was clearly a setup. Get him to debate or get him into the debate. And then when he says something like criticizing Mike Pence, why was Mike Pence just in the news? Oh, yeah, Mike Pence was complaining about the release of Julian Assange. We'll get to it. Get him to the debate, and when he attacks his political rivals, argue that it violates the gag orders and lock him up. And it's quite clear that that was the intent, which is why I said any so-called Republican, any so-called GOP candidate who was relishing or reveling in the fact that Trump couldn't debate without risking exposure of violating a gag order, or who held it against him, was contributing to participating in the Democrat deep state operation, which is why they deserve all of the ridicule and political critique that they would have gotten. And now I'm going to have to put that thought on pause because I see Alexa Lavoie in the backdrop. Let me see here. I love you, Viva. Thanks for talking Canada. I do not begrudge you at all, but I feel like Canada is an afterthought for you now. Ever consider doing a weekly Canada hour? Yeah, well, first of all, I do way more than a weekly Canada hour because I talk about Canada more than an hour a week. But it's weird. Like Florida has its problems. But maybe Florida man is not a state thing, but a spirit thing. The American thing is not. It's an internal philosophy. It's not a boundary geography. All right. Well, anyways, look, we're going to come back to the Trump stuff afterwards because I got Alexa Lavoie here, and we're not going to take up more of her time than we need. Alexa, thumbs up if you're good. Look at my armpit stains. Oh gosh. Oh, why did I do that? I'm such an idiot. Alexa. It's hot and humid, and I thought it's not much cooler in Montreal than it was in Florida. All right, Alexa, how you doing?
I'm good. Do you hear me well?
Yeah, I hear you, but actually, I think you're coming in from the computer mic, not from the headbuds.
Oh, really?
Yeah, check it. Make sure. I don't know how you can do that. I think everybody here knows. Yeah, this is why I'm not wearing here. Not that I'm going to bring even more attention to it. Look at my sweaty pits, people. Sorry. Oh, it's good enough, Alexa. Don't worry about it.
Yeah, this is weird because, Wait, iPhone micro.
Okay, I have
there
it.
You go. There you go. You got
there,
it. Okay.
I have it.
That's
okay.
much better. Alexa,
sorry if I look like disgusting. I just arrived from being on the ground.
I'm a married man, Alexa. I'm not allowed complimenting other women, so I'll leave it to the chat to to respond. You look fine and you look wonderful.
Thank you,
Alexa. Okay, so first of all, everybody knows who you are, but just in case there's some new faces to the crowd, who are you?
Oh, the French journalist based in Quebec for Rebel News. So I'm reporting most of the time in Montreal, Quebec, sometime in Ontario, where the news bring me.
Well, the news. So I retweeted your video from Sunday where you got assaulted by the cops. I'm going to bring it up for a second because I think we need to watch it again. Come on, Alexa Lavoie must watch here. So this video you posted. Okay, so we'll watch this again because I want to bring up the cops afterwards. But everyone who's watching this now has seen this video. Alexa, where was that and when was that?
So it was on Saturday around 4 p.m. So I had the information that a new encampment was getting to take over the Square Victoria Park. So I went over there and yeah, in fact, I arrived there and the camp was already set up and police were just watching.
Now, and I mean, I went by. We use the word encampment, and for what people might have thought, when you see it on video and you don't get the broader context, it looks like it's all encompassing. When I went to the McGill campus one, it's on a field, it's on a football field. So let's just say it's the size of a football field. I mean, they might be digging into the ground down, doing some serious damage. This encampment, it's a small square of a park. If anybody's ever seen it, it's where the new Moishes is in downtown Old Montreal. But it's a small park. But they've basically cordoned it off. If it's not like fences, there's tarps and everything. I asked the guy at the McGill encampment what the purpose of that encampment was in Victoria Square, but what is the purpose of it? Like, what's the stated objective?
But McGill have a different purpose than the one in Square Victoria. Square Victoria is to close the Quebec office in Tel Aviv, and they want also la Banque de Placement et de Dépôt du Québec to withdraw their $14 billion investment in some businesses that is linked with the Israeli government or Israeli other businesses that you can find there. But I would say that the main purpose of all this is to cause chaos, because what we are seeing so far, it's radical leftists who are getting emboldened, and now they are linked with the radical Islamic, and they are now taking over the place, spreading anti-Semitic slogan, being really radical, really violent, and it's not for peace at all. One of their sign at the Square Victoria, I don't know if you saw it,
it says by all means necessary.
No, they say shut down KKK Canada. Like if we are like white supremacists here in Canada, when we are open harm to everybody. Seriously, all their message that they show to everybody, like children is passing by. What we explain to children, oh, it looked like it's not homeless people, it's just like regular people wants to pressure the government. They are occupying the public space. They are defacing historical monument. Mm-hmm. And now they are getting over this, breaking the law repeatedly and not have any consequences. No sanction, nothing.
Alexa, it is it is wild. I'm going to play the video a little bit, but it's not just like occupying. It's occupying and then preventing anybody who's not radically aligned from being within the orbit. Like just even driving through, you're worried, or anyone who's moderately recognizable, or anyone who's visibly Jewish.
If you have just like your star, the David star, and you go close from them, good luck.
Well, and I don't mind the KKK Canada as much as I mind the one that says by any means necessary, because one is just an idiotic trope. The other one, by any means necessary, literally means we condone the violence. The violence is justified by any means, and that was one of the questions I would like to ask anybody. Does that mean you support what violence has been done? And they'll say, yeah, the answer is yes. And then what's the solution? What is the long-term goal here? But I want to bring this back up, because this is, so you go on, what day of the week was this when you were there?
Saturday.
This was Saturday. What time of day was it?
This was around maybe it's been like 20 minutes. I'm there, maybe 4:20, 4:30, around that.
I'm going to play this brief clip. Okay, those are two police officers right there. And just understand what this guy has: a canister filled with paint, a pump, and is spraying you with, I guess you're lucky that it's only paint, because it's only a matter of time before there's acid in there or something. And these two cops right here do jack shit. Now I want to bring it up, go back a little later, because we get a better, see right now, this is where I said, this guy's laughing at you.
Yeah.
The guy on the left is laughing.
Yeah. Yeah, and I call the police station, and I say like, okay, he give me his name briefly. I was like, I cannot understand his name, but I have his badge number. And I called and I say, I'm sorry, I'm putting a deontology complaint
Yep.
against every police officer, the whole team. But at least I have 2 badge number, and I'm going to put their true name in my complaint. And and he say, oh, it's Alexander L. Mustafa. And I was like, oh, maybe that explained why he was laughing at me, like when I got attacked. But maybe it's not. Maybe it's just like in my mind. But I was like, seriously, you look so biased just because, first of all, you did nothing and you look like you're smiling when I literally got assaulted. And by the way, today, one of the mainstream media got, he went to the other side and he got a full like bottle of unidentified liquid on his head.
Oh my God.
But police arrested the guy who did that. So why me? I don't have this treatment from the police.
Well, I mean, I guess in a way you're lucky they're not shooting you with the canister of pepper spray or the tear gas like they did out in Ottawa. But I mean, I'm just looking at this, guys. I don't think like this. And in the chat, when I played the video, someone said, if you're looking at skin tone and whatever, he says, oh, I wonder. And I'm like, well, there's a lot of tan, Quebecers. That. But then lo and behold, and now you are left wondering, the cop whose name is what you found out, are we now in a position where not only are the cops going to disarm you, criminalize your own right to self-defense, and leave you to your own devices, but are they going to be ideologically aligned with the radicals and the criminals? Because that is flat out objective assault. The paint is assault. Attempted theft is assault. Shoving you, running up to you is arguably assault because it is causing one to fear for their safety, and that's the intent behind it. You get a cop who now, I don't know if they would call, I don't know what the hiring process was, but who can now reasonably be thought of as being ideologically aligned with the protesters, allowing journalists to get assaulted and sit there with a shit-eating grin on his face. You're going to file an ethics complaint against both of those officers and the other officers who were there.
Yeah, I feel already a complaint online for the deontology part. I went also at the police station to file a complaint against the encampment and those radicals that attacked me. But the police answered me that there is really a low chance that they will find who did that, or it's probably just losing my time for doing it. But I say at least they will have a police report linked to this encampment for violence and for assault. At least I did my job. I show like what happened. And it's really outrageous because I'm a journalist. We have the freedom of the press here in Canada, and I cannot do my job properly without having massive security around me because I'm getting attacked and I cannot count on the police to do something. Like, in which kind of country we think this can happen? It's not Canada.
Communist hellholes is where you think this can happen. And by the way, so I had asked you this privately. The security, even if you get private security in Canada, they're not armed.
Mm-hmm. No, they cannot be harmed. In Canada, I don't think it's legal to wear a gun or something. Probably they have spray. I don't know what is the rule for the private security. Maybe they have other tools that they can use. But for guns, no. It's not like in US where it's way more free. You have the rights to self-defense. Here, I'm probably sure that if I did attack them, I would have been probably the one to be arrested.
Well, that was the joke in our locals community. Alexa will be watched now by cops, not those who assaulted her. We are in bizarre world. No, people are like telling me, Viva, even if you go there and don't get assaulted, they might just look for a pretext to arrest you. I don't know, recording on a private area. I don't know, jaywalking. If I go, who the hell knows? We're living in the world where the righteous and the innocent are being treated like the criminals, and the criminals are being protected like the righteous.
And do you remember, and this is the parallel that I'll always do. Do you remember during the Freedom Convoy, Do you remember when the protester did put Canadian flag and a Canadian hat on Terry Fox statue?
Absolutely.
Do you remember like the backlash?
CBC.
Everybody went out.
Yeah, they said that the trucker protest desecrated and vandalized the Terry Fox Memorial, the Terry Fox Monument. And then what I, in that brief video that I showed at the beginning, I don't know what monument that is in Square Victoria.
A Queen statue, the Victoria Queen statue.
Let me go pull it up. But it's wild.
By the way, no media on Saturday did mention the vandalism. Like, no, I say like the media in French, like TVA and La Presse. They didn't mention the vandalism, the violence. They just mentioned that there is a new pro-Palestinian encampment asking for this, and doing like some relation with like the McGill encampment. But I was like, okay, can you all actually say the truth? And that they cause vandalism, they actually occupying illegally a public space. I don't care. Like, for me, you have the rights to protest and to do like freedom of expression. You can disagree with me. I can disagree with you. It's fine. But when it's come to do some calling for the death of Jewish people and putting people in a state of fear and completely defacing and destroying.
Here we go.
Our monument.
Free Palestine, fuck the crown. What does it say? Make Nazis dead again. That's vandalized on it, and then I think we'll get a little higher.
It's even worse today. And by the way, today they actually put a line on Victoria. They cross completely the name. There is more paint. There is new flags. So they just continue to do vandalism. And by the way, you didn't see, but on my Twitter, I have some image of UQAM University when they removed the encampment. You should have seen number of graffiti on the wall. That was just disgusting. And there is like a really old chimney. And it's something that if they use the water pressure to remove, they would destroy this whole like chimney that is there. So I don't even think that they can remove the graffiti on this old like beautiful chimney. So I don't know. It will cost a lot of money to clean that out. Who will pay? Taxpayer. So I think the taxpayer have the rights to decide if yes or not they want them. A lot of people on those encampments, most of the time they bring me the comparison with the trucker convoy. But first of all, the trucker convoy was an immediate impact on their life. They were not allowed to work. They were not allowed to go to some of public places or private places like a restaurant, or to go to buy alcohol. In Quebec, we were not the non-vaccinated were not allowed in SAQ, that is for the alcohol. They were not. They were talking about putting a health tax for the unvaccinated. So the restriction that was put on Canadian, they were not allowed to travel anymore. That was impacting them directly. So they took over the street. They respect the place. They were shoveling the snow,
salting the sidewalk,
removing the garbage. Everybody were safe to cross and to walk there. And you made the comparison with a really peaceful movement for their own basic freedom. And you compare that with something that had nothing related to us, a conflict that is happening in the Middle East. So I'm sorry, but I know that some people are impacted by. And I want to be clear, when I cover my story, I don't want to get involved with that conflict. That doesn't concern me. Like, I'm sad for what's going on, but I'm covering what is going on in Canada, what is impacting Canadian, and what they are doing to Canada as a country. So at least I make it clear.
Are you going? So you went there today. Was the fluid that was dumped on the reporter's head, was it like urine potentially, or just water?
I think it's water. I'm not sure, but it looked like water. But it's just like I'm really sad for the reporter. I wanted to tell him that I'm kind of sad. But I think it's the kind of reporter that is always pushing the boundaries a little bit to expose what is going on. So I think it's kind of good to see, especially because he's the one also that went to McGill and exposed that it was homeless people in the anti-Israel encampment.
Yep.
He's the one also that challenged the anti-Israel supporter about the stolen fences, stolen construction tools that was taken from entrepreneur in Montreal. So it's just the fact that we have a two-tier policing. We have like people who are like, imagine if I did jaywalking, I would have been probably ticket, having like sanction for it. But if I put a mask and I'm going to destroy public place, I get away with it. It's not supposed to.
Alexa, you got a few more minutes to talk about Tommy Robinson?
Yeah, so
okay, hold on a second. YouTube, come on over to Rumble, everybody. Let me give everybody the link here because we got to migrate off. We've been on YouTube for far too long. Link to Rumble. If you want to bypass that and come straight to locals, the link is there. Alexa, where for the YouTube crowd who might not come, where can people find you?
You can. I'm really active on Twitter. I think it's the future platform. It's where you have the freedom of expression, the freedom of publishing what you want. So my handle is The Voice Alexa, because my family name is Lavoie.
For anybody who doesn't know, Lavoie literally means the voice in French. Lavoie.
If you are French, you can join me on the YouTube Rebel News Quebec. You have Rebel News on YouTube too. Rumble and rebelnews.com, of course, if you want to subscribe or just to give the email, because as you know, censorship, it's everywhere. So it's the only way that we can always have like a link to you and send you like some email or keeping you updated on the situation.
Okay, we got a link that has armed security guards in Canada from Paracleric. In locals, Crash Bandit says, how is this any different than the Nazis replacing the police with brown shirts back in the day? And we got Randall Olson, thumbs up. We got a Viva Fry Wolverine meme from Finboy Slick. The way in which Tommy was arrested, and we're going to come to that now, in locals and Rumble. So ending on YouTube, bada bing, bada boom, and ending on Twitter, bada bing, bada boom. And we should be on Rumble and locals only now. All right. So I've only read the news. I've read the new headlines. Tommy Robinson, he got to Canada, I want to say about a week and a half ago. How long ago did he get here?
So first of all, the first time he arrived about a week ago. And he arrived in Montreal. I was the one to go and pick him up. He stayed about 3 hours in the immigration to being questioned, and afterwards, they let him free. So everything went well. We spent a little bit time in Montreal, and afterwards, he flew, I think it's yesterday. Yeah, yesterday he flew to Calgary because he had an event to give. Everything went well. He gave his speech. He had an ovation. Everybody was happy. And at the end, he just went out of the room, probably just for taking fresh air. And undercover police officer arrested him.
Let me stop you for 1 second. You picked him up from the airport. You weren't in customs with him when he was held for 3 hours. You're just sitting there waiting for 3 hours for him to get out?
I was not with him. I was talking with him because I'm not allowed to cross the gate when you are at the airport.
Yeah.
The immigration office is like the other side of the gate. So I was waiting for him on my side. I didn't know if it will make it through. So I was just waiting, and I wait for like 4 hours, and I don't know how long, but I was like, this is just ridiculous. So he had an interview at the immigration office.
Did he tell you what they asked him? What happened during that 4 hours? I mean, do they just make him sit around for 3 hours just to say haha, and then it's a 5 or 10 minute interview, and then they let him go through?
Exactly.
It's a bunch of okay, but who knows? Maybe they're backed up because of all the immigrants that they're. I mean, they've opened the border, so they do have a lot of processing. I saw the line in Toronto when I flew in, and it was just endless. So they make him wait for hours. It's not like they grilled him for 3 hours. They, what are you doing here? Show us your papers, yada yada yada, and then they say you're free to go, and then they let him out, only to arrest him basically a few days later.
Exactly. And so I think, I'm not sure. You need to watch the video, but I think it was the CBSA, like the immigration people who came, and he had a warrant of arrest against him. Apparently was for outstanding warrant. It was an outstanding warrant.
It's an outstanding warrant on I thought it was an outstanding warrant, at least as far as I understand, on a visa issue.
No, apparently it's a problem with the immigration paper that he filled. I don't know much right now. They are fighting it. We are hired lawyer for him, but right now he's banned. It's banned to live Calgary. He's banned for living Canada, and he doesn't know how long it would be. He has an event planned on the 27th of July in UK. That is the leader of like the movement. He has also, I think it's on the 25th, a court trial in England that he actually learned about it when he was on his way to Canada. And he learned it from a far left activist from Twitter that he had a court date on the 25th. Nobody tried to, he said, I don't know if they tried to reach out to me. I was in another country. I was actually working. And so now he had multiple events. It's the birthday of his child that's coming up. And he said, but I need to be there for my children. And they say, but it's not us to decide what's going on with you. And they don't want to give him a date. He has to stay here. And I think he needs to report himself every Tuesday and Wednesday.
It's so wild. I'm just trying to look up while you're talking. The news thus far, he's arrested on suspicion of an immigration offense. If I'm being cynical, which I am, if they presumably ought to have known about this before they let him go. Who knows what the immigration offense is? It's almost like until we know what happens. It sounds like something of entrapment where we know that he's done something. We're going to let him go so that we can arrest him instead of just turning him back so he goes back to the UK. But
I don't understand. When he went to the immigration, he spent a full week in Montreal. They knew his phone number. He did give like all his information. Why then you waited almost a week after a speech, and you came with undercover cop to arrest him? It sounds like almost, first of all, it seems like almost like how you say it, like when you
a setup?
No, but like kidnap. It was looking at kidnapping.
Yeah, it's a judicial. It's not kidnapping if you have a law that allows you to take the body. But he was released. He was released just on conditions, surrendered his passport, and can't leave Winnipeg.
He cannot leave Alberta. So right now, he was supposed to have an event tonight in Edmonton. It was supposed to have an event in Toronto on the 30th. Right now, they had to cancel the event in Edmonton because that would not happen anymore because it's not allowed to go. So now he's stuck in Alberta, in Calgary, I think, and he needs to pay from his own pocket, like hotel for like, I don't know how long he will be here for. And so it's a little bit panicking because they have his passport. So he cannot leave.
They have him. He's being held hostage by Canada. Period. There's no other way to. Not by Canada. By This is by the Trudeau government.
Yeah, but apparently what he say, like, the at least, like, apparently the police officer were nice. They repeatedly say that it's not their decision. They just apply,
No, yeah, they're just
following the orders.
That makes it even better. Outrageous. All right.
Yeah.
Alexa, are you going back to the encampments or are you done with this for a bit?
It's depend always, like, of the news. I would say, like, we know that McGill is done now. McGill have asked the police to remove them. Police have say they can't. They say that they didn't reach the threshold to remove the encampment. So McGill have an injunction hearing on I think it's 25th of July.
Yeah,
And
25th or 28th, but soon.
Yeah.
July. Yeah.
July, not June. And so we know that now McGill is looking into sanctioning any staff or students involved with this encampment. But right now, we see that there is only kind of like homeless people who are dealing with the encampment. And people are fully masked. So McGill cannot identify nobody. They cannot charge anybody. They cannot do anything. And it's really sad because McGill is losing money every day with this encampment. And it's really sad to see that, same if it's their private property, same if they are asking the police for help, they don't get the help. And anyway, like, same if François Legault have say, oh, we want those encampments being removed. Mr. Legault have like only the power, I think, on the SQ. The decision is from the city. It's Valérie Plante. And Valérie Plante say that those encampments, what they want at the end of the day is just the peace. Not very sure that is true. So I don't think we'll see anything being removed soon. So we'll keep an eye on it. And I'm going to publish my full version of the attack probably this week. So stay tuned. And by the way, I might go to France because the election's coming up, and apparently it's not going that well there. Apparently the far left have mentioned they will burn down France if le Rassemblement National of Marie Le Pen win. So I want to see that, and I want to be there for reporting on the election.
All right. Well, I think you're crazy, but enjoy France if you go. They still have a few good things left out there. Thank you very much. And we will meet up. We will meet up before the summer's over. So
I hope so.
Yes, absolutely. Okay, don't do anything stupid, and we'll keep in touch.
Okay.
All right. Have a good one.
Have a good one. Bye-bye.
Yeah, she's crazy. I read the chat. She's crazy. Courageous? Crazy? Who knows? Hold on. Let me bring up, there's some Humble rants here that we're going to bring up. And then, I'm a cynic, but Canada is heading towards liberty because it will soon become a hotbed for terrorist cells. So then the US can have a pretext to take over to our north and annex Canada. Ginger Ninja. I know this week is busy, but could you have another sidebar with Robert Gouveia? 1,000%. So long as he wants to. I mean, he's a very busy man also. Would be an amazing stream to have again. Absolutely. David's new glasses are aces. Thank you very much. That's from Hedda Broccoli. Schmickel says, I've never felt fear in public. Okay, I got that one before. And I think in our vivabarneslaw.locals.com community, hold on, let me stop this here. We've got a few more. Do I go down? Armed security in Canada, I'll refresh that. All right. What we're actually going to do, we've been going for an hour and 15. I need to exercise before I go out for dinner with family tonight. So I'm going to end this a little bit early on YouTube, and we're going to talk about the election stuff. Not the election stuff, the debate stuff on vivabarneslaw.locals.com. I'm going to give everyone a link there, and maybe I'll put out a quick vlog if I can, but I need to exercise. If I don't exercise, that's when I start getting really, really antsy. So link to Locals. Come on over. We're going to have our Locals exclusive after party, and it's going to be fantastic. Okay, so let's do this. I'm going to end it on Rumble. Come on over. And so what's happening now? I might be on with Pantelis tomorrow or the day after. Thursday night, we will be live stream commentating on the debate. we're going to have a discussion as to what to anticipate coming up for the debate, the CNN debate on Thursday. And hit the thumbs up button before you leave. Drop a comment, all that stuff. Share, snip, and clip, especially the Tommy Robinson stuff. Let the world know what's going on there. And maybe I was planning on meeting Tommy, but I'm not sure if that's going to happen anymore. So we're going to end on Rumble and take this party over to vivabarneslaw.locals.com. If you're not coming, enjoy the rest of the day. Stay tuned for some more vlogs. Viva Fry, Viva Clips, the Viva Fry on Twitter, vivabarneslaw.locals.com. Viva and Barnes Law for the People, where all of these videos are put into podcast format. And now we're going to end on Rumble and take the party over to Locals. Locals, yeah, this is it. We're going to do 15 minutes here, and I'm going to go exercise afterwards because I know. David, what are you exercising so late for? We're going to have dinner too late, and I don't like eating steak so late because it makes me not sleep well. Nobody ever says that in my family except for my mother. Locals, how's it going? Let me refresh here and see what's going on. Alexa's crazy. Paracleric sent a link. Okay, we're rolling out vaccines for the flu. Paracleric says, here we go to Crazy Town, Finland, to roll out vaccines for bird flu as soon as next week in world first as human cases of virus spread across the globe. N. Spence in Local says, hope Alexa has time to get to the bottom of the story about Macron's misses while she's in France. Yeah, what's her name? Candace Owens seems to have dropped that story pretty abruptly. The lovely lady has a big pair of balls. Love her, says in the Belfry. And, Alexa's amazing. She's really brave, says Gaetan. Jay, cute and crazy, says Paracleric. Gaetan says, I like her. SB Farmer 8, is Viva going to get on here like I don't know what that is. France is dangerous now, says Sophia Agape. Agape, by the way, I learned it means something, not agape. Agape meaning Italian. It has a good what is the translation of agape in Italian? Agape in Italian. Di agape fraterna. It meant something. What does agape mean? Agape meaning. Who texteth me? Who doth text me? Let me see here. Boom, shakalaka. Agape means your mouth is partly open, but it means something in a foreign language. I won't spend too much time on this. Greek, the highest form. There you go. Agape in Greek is the highest form of love, charity, and, quote, the love for God, for human beings, and of other human beings for God. I like. Did anybody know that? I was listening to a podcast, but I think we talked about it, Sophia, once upon a time. Agape. So beautiful word. Okay, now you know. Let's go back to Locals and see what's going on here. I understand why agape means look at her chest. No, it doesn't. We got Spuds. See, David, I told you annexing parts of Canada is a good idea. I am not the only one. Get the gold out of Yukon, Alaska, Alberta Railway. What is this? Oh, Lordy. Going up here. Agape means, look, agape is more than love in the Christian tradition. Okay. Unconditional love is agape. Brotherly love for all. Love. Okay, we got everybody knew before me. All right, people. I'm now, a lot of people are saying the debate is a setup and that what's going to happen. Look, forget the fact that, Jake Tapper's on record comparing Trump to Hitler and all this other stuff. This is my father's insight, who says, and it's obvious that Jake Tapper is going to have a little bud in his ear, and they're going to have real-time fact checkers for everything Donald Trump says. And they're not going to have quite the same level of fact checking for everything Joe Biden says. And they're not going to hold Joe Biden's feet to the fire the same way they're going to hold Trump. So it is going to be a sabotage in that sense, in that, according to the rules, Barnes has talked about it, they can mute. Trump doesn't really have much leverage on that. He can't talk over. They're going to really mute and keep it strict and yada, yada, yada. The real strategic issue is going to be the real-time fact-checking, so they can paint Trump as being a liar in real time, and Joe Biden is going to be, everything he's going to say is going to be totally accurate. So the question is whether or not Trump is going to be preparing for this and keeping things simple in terms of responses to not give them the fodder, the excuse, the justification. But it is going to be, it's going to be amazing. I think it's going to go very well. Yeah, Janice TR says, Viva, I think your father is correct. But that's as bad as it could get. Like, they're going to cut him off and just say, you can't talk about that, exactly like that. I was going to say Hasey. Casey Hunt. Such a bad name. Exactly like Casey did. They'll just cut him off, talk over him, and then mute his mic. Doesn't matter. I don't think that's going to go over well. I'm telling you, my prediction is that it's going to be to sabotage Joe Biden and swap him in for Gavin Newsom. My big problem right now is Vivek Ramaswamy, people, has now doubled in likelihood as the VP pick. I'm ecstatic about this, except I sold out my position in Vivek Ramaswamy last night at 8 cents. This is why I cannot invest, and I'm having a little bit of fun on Predicted. I do not care. I just want to have a little bit of fun, and I put my money on JD Vance and Vivek Ramaswamy. But then I started getting a little disappointed because Doug Burgum doubled up in his likelihood, and so I made 4 cents off Vivek, and I wanted to roll it into Doug Burgum, and then Vivek doubles, but now he's back down to 13 cents. In terms of Biden, by the way, do not take any gambling or betting advice from me. I suck. And I'm compulsive and I'm impulsive and I do stupid things and play with it too much until it breaks. But I have put a little bit on Gavin Newsom being the VP pick because it's a long shot and I think it's a good one, although I'm down 50%. And then I also just put, no, it will not be Biden. I think I made like $5 on that one. So don't do as Viva does, because Viva is an idiot but likes to have fun. Viva says it's Vivek. No, and Trump. Barnes just put out a poll. And it looks like people want JD Vance. So if JD is the pick, I'll be happy because I put the bulk of my bet on JD Vance. Locals, what else is going on here? I play with it a lot too, says Bill Brown. In the Belfry says, if they wire up, that's the other. Well, if they wire up old Joe, it'll be in a hilarious shit show. Seriously, can you imagine Joey trying to keep a thought, speak, and listen to the voices in an earpiece? I see. They have the rules, no notes, no cards, etc. I don't think they would go for that level of cheating. It's true. It's impossible. I mean, even I, multitasking OCD extraordinaire, when you're trying to listen to somebody talk into your ear, it's very distracting. And I forget where I had that experience. It was when I hosted the debate at Real America Voice, and I had an earbud, and they were giving instructions while you're talking. And, you could do it. It's very, very distracting. Except, if they just give him the instructions while he's not talking. But there's no way, Joe, you'd see him do this. I'm like, can you say that again? So I don't think that's going to happen. It's going to be structural protection and not cheating protection. But I don't think it's going to be protection. Oh, I want to be the smartest man in the room if this happens. Sabotage. I don't think it can be another white dude. Oh, you don't think it can be another white dude, says N. Spence. Well, I'm not sure. Mighty paix, which paix in French means peace. CNN won't allow alternative media to stream the debate. Won't let Timcast or others, only allowing other sleaze media at Viva Fry. Well, then I won't do it on. I'll do it on Rumble. Fuck them. That's bull crap. It's fair use commentary of a newsworthy event. I hadn't heard that, by the way, but I'm curious to know about that. They have to charge Biden's brain battery, says Sophia Agape. YouTube will take the live stream down instantly. Mother effers. I'm trying to think of that. Well, we're going to do it on Rumble and we'll do it on Locals. But like, I don't, it's like, I feel guilty. Like, it's almost like if YouTube says it's wrong, then it's illegal. Like, that's bullshit. Okay. It's fair use commentary and I'm going to do it. And I'll double check with Chris and see what Rumble's going to do, but I don't think they're going to take it down. Where is Barnes Polls, Locals or Twitter? It's in Twitter. I voted. Here we go. I'll give this to everybody here. Bada bing, bada boom. Locals. Dog falls off the bed, pisses on the carpet, and then throws up a little. I don't know. Maybe he just got nervous. And then I have to go walk him at 4:30 in the morning in my underwear without my glasses with earplugs in. I'm like, God, I look crazy. Spuds. Vivek is a no-go. He ain't black. Vivek is genetically Caucasian. The thing is this, and this is why I don't like betting on things, because now that I sold my position in Vivek, I'm no longer rooting for him. Bullcrap. I would love Vivek, but I think JD Vance is the way to go. Doug Burgum is not the pick. An old, boring dude. I appreciate it. You don't want to outshine the president, but no, you got to be a threat if you ever took power, and not a threat to the power. And JD Vance fits that perfectly. JD Vance is young, ambitious, but not a threat to Donald Trump, but certainly a threat if Donald Trump is removed for whatever the reason. And then J.D. Vance gets to be president in 4 years, and bam, you got 4, 8, 12 years of responsible, smart leadership. So that's that. Okay, let's see what else is going on in the chat over here. Okay, we got axing there. Ben Carson. Let me see what Ben Carson's at. Ben Carson is at 7 cents. Man, if anybody bets on Ben Carson now, that's. I don't think it's going to be Ben Carson. He's also too boring. But I'm wrong on a lot of stuff, so you might not want to listen to me. Tim Crowder, the Quartering, and others are talking about YouTube shutting channels down by CNN request, says Crash Bandit. Yep. Tulsi is a commie. Spuzz, I disagree with that. She is not. Is this Draw Me Like One of Your French Girls, Barnes? I'm going to save that and share that on Twitter. That's beautiful. So other than that, what else is going on? Lanzhou noodles was good, but they didn't have the egg in it today, and I wasn't about to complain. I wanted that that delicious egg. 6 days in hiding. When do they take Joey out of the fridge? Says In the Belfry. Let me see something here. I'm going to go to all the tip because I think I might have missed some. Okay, Spuds had the taking over part of Canada. How is this any different than the Nazis replacing the police? No, but now I understand what Kristallnacht was. Like, it's like, someone just sent me a picture. What the fuck? Tell me you got that on video as well. We're living in crazy town, people. Okay. Let me go back to the all questions here. View all. Byron Donalds is my congressman. If he picks someone from Florida, the ticket loses the electors from Florida. I don't think they can afford to lose that. See if it happens again and record it! Exclamation point. Apparently, there are planes flying in the sky, releasing smoke in the colors of the Palestinian flag in Montreal. This is import foreign conflict. How can things go wrong? Okay, why are we still using voting machines? Clown World David says neurodivergent. Yep, it's wild. 426. Okay, hold on. We're gonna do 4 short minutes of supporter only because I got to get on the treadmill, and I know if I do it, I can run upstairs, get on a treadmill, exercise, and be done in time for dinner, and no one's gonna get mad at me. Rapid fire AMAs. Bring them in the chat. What do we got? The VP must be an aggressive, intelligent, young conservative who loves America in order to ensure that there is a chance for the next 8 to 12 years. I agree in the Belfry. J.D. Vance, baby. Stay away from Antifa shithole fest, Viva. The word encampment is commie linguistic bullshit, says Mighty Pay. Absolutely. An appeal to heaven is the beautiful flag coming from Paracleric. Let me see what we got here. Yeah, you just stay away. Who knows? You don't know what trouble you've avoided. But you find out quickly what trouble you have unnecessarily walked into immediately after you've made a silly decision. So that's it. I'll stick to. I was jogging yesterday and I ran into a fan. Someone says a woman from Bulgaria. It's like, Viva? It's like, yeah. I'm sweating a disgusting pig that I am, but no, it's wonderful running through the mountain and running into members of the community from Bulgaria. Living in Canada now, says Canada is less free than the Bulgaria that she fled many years ago. Roostang says Viva will have to bring his mom out. She sounds like George's mother from Seinfeld. Janice Sierra says you need to go exercise and then enjoy dinner with your family. Don't upset your mother. Janice Sierra, you have a good rest of the day, everyone, says Mighty Pay. Sophia Agape Viva, get your extended family out of Canada, please. Patty F. Weber, AP News and local ABC states CNN rules they must keep CNN's insignia on screen. Oh, that's interesting. And can interrupt their own commentators while debate airs for tomorrow's debate. It's going to be fun. Enjoy the evening, folks. Mandalici, Paracleric, Ontario will join Wisconsin in the U.S. We still got 2 minutes left. I'm not going to, and I got the dog here. Oh, poor Winston. I gave Winston, I figured raw beef would be just as good as the pucks that he gets, and I put a little carrot in it. It upset his stomach. Let's see what we got. Okay, thanks. All right, boom, shakalaka. I'm from Bulgaria. She's right, says Mrs. Fix-It, Nevada. No, it's funny. Mrs. Fix-It, I knew she was from Bulgaria because I recognized the accent. Devil Dog Mom says, aloha, Viva, be careful. Viva, how's the family? So glad you've braved the journey back to the motherland in the Belfry. Everyone's good. We drove up in the Bronco, 14.6 miles per gallon. We filled up every 2.5 hours. It was wonderful as far as it goes. 2 days. So we really crammed it. On the way back, I'm going to take more time and hopefully hit up Tin Pool on the way back. Let me see something here. Yeah, this is Beijing Yank says, after ethnic cleansing in Gaza, ethnic cleansing of Christians in greater Israel, Ukraine, ethnic cleansing of the world with 6.2 billion bioweapons shots, it's time to investigate why Israel's excessive death toll, despite being the most extensively jabbed nation on earth, is so low. Their excessive death toll is so low. Then we got bacon. Oh, yeah. That's a lot of bacon and that's a lot of burger. Okay, we got a meme somewhere off the coast of Florida. Yeah, the hunt for Red October. And we got, this is Joe Biden saying, do you know what your sister said when she lost her virginity? Oh, that is terrible. I am not even, Sad Wings Raging. I'm not even reading the rest of that. Seth Rich is trending on Twitter. I wonder why. Donald's will be replaced by another red. I'm going to go see why Seth Rich is trending on Twitter. Okay, that's it. Now I'm going to end it because I'm going to go upstairs and exercise 30 minutes on the treadmill, 8.1, watch something good on television, then go out for dinner. Go for dinner at 6 o'clock. I've entered an old person's home. I'm joking. I haven't, but I have. Okay, ending it. Thank you all for being here. I will see you tomorrow. Definitely Thursday. Definitely. And that's it. Stay sane, people. Locals, thank you very much. And once I get over the mourning for what I feel to be the loss of my city, province, and country, we'll talk about fun stuff. I don't know. See you later, peeps. Enjoy the day. Booyah. Oh, God. Is it still on?